A Camden neighborhood gets a $13 million grant as South Jersey town celebrates singer Christina Grimmie in a special way, and a look at this week's weather. All that and more coming up on this half hour of RTN News. Welcome back to a new episode of RTN News. I'm Summer Shiki.
And I'm Hassan Drame. Today we give you the latest going on in the scenes, starting with, take it away, Summer.
A Camden neighborhood gets a $13 million grant to help kickstart its transformation. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development donated the money in order to help replace a total of over 1,800 severely distressed public housing units with nearly 3,700 mixed-income housing units in the Mount Ephraim neighborhood. Camden is one of the 5 cities across the country that will be splitting the $132 million in funding through the Choice Neighborhood Initiative. The other 4 cities include St. Louis, Boston, Denver, and Louisville, but the grant doesn't come close to covering the cost of the projects, and each community are expected to secure 5 times more funding from other public and private sources.
11 people were arrested this past Thursday with their involvement in a Camden County prostitute sting taking place in a few towns within the county. Belmar police released a statement calling the operation a provocative prostitution enforcement effort, in which officers found the woman based on online advertisements and imposed as Johns. Involved in the stings were also officers from Brooklawn, Mount Ephraim, Runnymede, and the Camden County Prosecutor's Office. Out of the 11 people arrested, 9 of them were women who posted the ads asking for money in exchange for sexual acts. The other one arrested was a motel employee. The undisclosed name of the motel is where the woman and the officers would meet. The employee was charged with obstruction. As for the 11th person who was arrested in the sting, she was charged with drug possession. All were released pending court dates, except for the 2 women who had warrants and were unable to post bail.
A South Jersey World War II vet celebrates his 100th birthday. Frank Peafaw was surrounded by his entire family at the Pittman Manor Assisted Living residence on Sunday night. Peafaw is a decorated U.S. Army veteran who served as a supply truck driver in World War II and was stationed in the Asian Pacific Theater, Japan, and the Philippine Islands. His birthday party was attended by his 2 children, 5 grandchildren, and 14 great-grandchildren. Peafaw was born in Philadelphia but moved with his family to South Jersey in 1952.
The Marlton Branch Group of Girl Talk Incorporated in Evesham Township, New Jersey, found a way to memorialize the late singer and The Voice competitor Christina Grimmie, who was a native to the town. Grimmie was shot and killed by a fan on June 10th of this year in Orlando, Florida. The Marlton Branch of Girl Talk decided to bring a wish ball to town in her memory. Mary Beth Lanarella, the leader of the group, contacted and met with the Wish Wall Foundation headed by Simonetta Leanne to see if they could get a physical wall in Evesham Township. With help from local sponsors, the Wish Wall event was held this past Saturday at Evesham Library, and it happened to fall on the 6-month anniversary of Grimmie's death. Lanarella is quoted in saying, "I wanted to do something positive. The Wish Wall is usually virtual, and people post wishes online. However, with a physical one, dozens have scribbled and written wishes on a colorful pieces of paper and posted it on the wall." And now, rain or shine. Let's check out the latest of the weather with Jashanti Pittman.
Thank you. Today will be mostly cloudy with a high 44 and low 32. Tomorrow will be sunny with a high 40 and low 25. Make sure you bundle up because on Thursday it's supposed to be extremely windy with a high 25 and low 16. On Friday, it will be sunny with a high 28 and low 21. This weekend, make sure you have your rain boots and your umbrellas because you need to be ready because it's supposed to rain this weekend. Starting with Saturday with a high 43 and low 42, and leading into Sunday with a high 56 and low 23.
So it's a
bunch of rain.
I'm not even mad though because this weekend I have so much to do, like with studying for finals and stuff. So maybe it's okay for this weekend.
Right, to be inside.
Exactly. And it's not that cold out too, so it's pretty good.
I wasn't doing much anyway either, so that's pretty much it. Thanks, Jashanti.
You're welcome.
After the break, find out which politician is dressing up like Buddy the Elf for Philadelphia's Franklin Square Electrical Spectacular.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And now we're going to head over to Alexa Carini with entertainment and breaking news.
Thank you, Summer. Which icon will be giving Philadelphia a Christmas treat? Mayor Kenny of Philadelphia will get into the holiday spirit by dressing as Buddy the Elf. Buddy is a well-known holiday character played from the movie Elf by Will Ferrell in the 2003 movie. The mayor will attend the Franklin Square Electrical Spectacle next Thursday at 5 p.m. in Center City. Family and friends and many members of the law enforcement gathered yesterday for the services of 31-year-old state trooper Frankie Williams. It was last week Williams was responding to a call on duty for a threatening vehicle on Route 55. It was that response and that very vehicle that struck his car, causing fatal injuries to both drivers. Williams, who recently graduated as the 150th class of the Academy this past January, was remembered in Atlantic City at Boardwalk Hall as rain poured from the sky. Newly married in October to his high school sweetheart, Williams leaves behind his new wife, Kimberly, dear mother, father, and sisters. Governor Christie, along with hundreds of officers from across the country, made an appearance to share their condolences to the family. Williams has been the fourth traffic-related fatality for the department in the past 18 months. It was a very intense, extreme sight to see yesterday at that funeral. I don't think I've seen so much blue.
It's so sad. I feel like there's been so many shootings that involve police officers over the last year that it's really sad.
No, it is really sad, but what's even worse is that it was a car accident. So it's something that, I mean, it was both of the cars in the place at a certain time. Like, I guess you can only say that fate.
It's a very unfortunate situation for all parties involved. You know, the officer's family, his wife. They said, a sweetheart too.
His high school, the two have been together. Their first date, they were actually chaperoned. So that's how long they've been together.
Yeah, it's really sad. You know, all prayers go up to everyone involved.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Alexa.
Thank you.
After the break, we'll have some national news, so don't go away.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it! I see it! Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to the shelterpetproject.org and meet if you are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to the shelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Welcome back to the show. 10 men have made their way onto the most wanted fugitives list in Morris County. Those men have charges ranging from attempted murder, sexual assault, and child endangerment. A gallery is shown on NJ.com listing the most wanted fugitives. One of the fugitives is Manuel Ramos, who is 49 years old, and he is considered armed and dangerous. He is wanted from charges of attempted murder, carjacking, and kidnapping, according to Morris County Prosecutor's Office. Abdallah Sahil, who is 21 years old, is wanted on charges of sexual assault and endangering the welfare of a child. These are just two of the wanted men listed on NJ.com, and anyone with information on these individuals can contact the Morris County Prosecutor's Office.
6 officers were shot over the last week in Georgia, 2 fatally wounded. The shootings happened in 3 unrelated incidents. Last week's shooting involved police officer Nicholas Ryan Smar, who responded to a 911 call about a domestic dispute at a local apartment complex. Officer Jody Smith heard the call over his radio and also responded as a backup. At the scene, the shooter shot and killed Smar and critically wounded Smith, who later died from his injuries. There have been at least 64 police officers killed over the last year. Is a gluten-free diet even good for you? Sarah Rankin has this week's health check.
Thanks, Summer. Not too long ago, a gluten-free diet became the new fad, and now you almost can't go anywhere without seeing a gluten-free option. For some people, it is necessary to have a gluten-free diet for allergy purposes or due to having celiac disease. However, many have taken it upon the notion that it provides some type of health benefit. In a recent study to see if the prevalence of celiac disease and the use of a gluten-free diet had increased in the past few years, 22,278 adults and children were tested for celiac disease or interviewed about prior diagnoses. About 0.7 of people were diagnosed with celiac disease, and about 1.08 were adhering to a gluten-free diet that did not have the disease. Between 2009 and 2010, 0.5% of people were on a gluten-free diet, and that has increased to 1.69% between 2013 and 2014. Though it has made it cheaper and easier to follow this diet than in the past, it is still not known to cause any health issues in people not intolerant. Researchers caution that the findings in these studies are limited due to the fact that some people may have an unknown gluten sensitivity. Nowadays, researchers are almost saying that everything causes cancer, and a new study does not stray away from that. A new report says that the cause of stomach cancer found that alcohol, processed meat such as bacon, and obesity could be a cause. These 3 factors are all linked with other types of cancer, such as colon cancer and breast cancer, but this is the very first time they have been associated with stomach cancer. According to the National Cancer Institute, 21,000 people in the U.S. have gastric cancer, and nearly 11,000 people die of it every year, making it the 5th common cancer globally. The report adds that, quote, there is a strong evidence that consuming 3 or more alcoholic drinks per day increases the risk, end quote. Additionally, eating 1.8 ounces of processed meat, which is equivalent to 1 hot dog every day, raises the risk for stomach cancer by 18%. Winter break is only a week away, but before we go, we have to get through finals. We have all heard the typical tips to get through the week, such as getting a good night's rest and eating a good meal before your exam. But if those don't work, then what? Here are some other tips and tricks to forget the stress. One is to listen to your favorite music while studying and also before the exam. When you listen to the same song while trying to retain the information, and then again when trying to remember it, it sticks in better because your brain connects the info with the song. Even though us college kids live on coffee, too much caffeine could be the opposite of beneficial during finals week. Too much can make you jittery and make it difficult to concentrate. One last tip is, even though it may seem like a good idea to study in a group of friends or classmates, it could be more of a distraction than a benefiter. There is plenty of time to be social after finals, so take the time for yourself to study on your own.
So,
I'll definitely be using those tips.
Yeah, I definitely need it because finals stressful.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee, so that isn't my problem in my department.
I actually just started drinking coffee.
Oh, you did?
Me too, this semester.
This month. Yeah, this semester. So I only have 1 cup a day, so it's not that much.
Yeah, that's not bad. But soda also has caffeine, so you got to be careful of that.
I don't drink that
I
either.
don't drink soda,
That's
so
good.
that's
Then
good.
that's just me.
Well, thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
No problem.
And now we go over to our political reporter, Leon Purvis.
Recently in a press conference, Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, Kim Guadagno, said if the minimum wage in New Jersey went up to $15 an hour, New Jerseyans would have to pump their own gas.
Pumping gas is an outlet for a lot of younger people who are in need of jobs, or people who just graduated who don't have a job yet. So I mean, it provides a lot of jobs in Jersey.
Guadagno said in that same press conference, you go to $15 minimum wage, you're not going to be able to hire that high school kid or that senior citizen, to pump gas. Samuel, a recent Rowan grad, makes $10.50 an hour doing his job pumping gas. He believes a $15 an hour minimum wage will impact his life greatly.
$15 an hour is enough for somebody to be able to pay their bills, you know, be able to pay for a phone, which kind of you need now, get your food, and save up for like your car payment. Like it's a good start. Like minimum wage is kind of living check to check, and it's hard to get above water.
I don't think it's very accurate, and the statement's kind of out of touch with how a lot of other people in the state feel. You know, we had a bill go to the Senate that would increase it to $15 and even made it all the way to Chris Christie's desk.
Well, it'd be a shame, you know, if those kids, you know, those people that lost their jobs, you know, that pump gas. But at the same time, though, I don't think a $15 minimum wage is the answer. I think somewhere in the middle would be a lot better than $15 an hour. I think maybe like $10 per hour would be better. I don't think 15 would be, you know, realistic for, you know, our economy right now. I think it would actually damage our economy more than help it.
Depending on who our next governor is, we will see what will happen to the minimum wage increase. I'm Leon Purvis for Rowan, RTN News.
Coming up after the break, we have the biggest stories in national news, so don't go away.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Welcome back to RTN News. In wake of alleged hate crimes against their own, a group of Muslim police officers in New York City are requesting a meeting with President-elect Donald Trump to discuss similar incidents happening in the city. Eric Adams, the Brooklyn Borough president, wrote a letter to Trump on the officers' behalf, noting the deep tensions that followed the national election. The NYPD has reported that hate crimes have risen 115% since Election Day. Adams adds that this has had been a particular impact on Jewish, LGBTQ, and Muslim communities. Adams also added that Trump should meet with the city's 800 Muslim cops, which comprises of the largest Muslim force in the nation. Adams is quoted in saying, "They deserve guidance on how they will be protected." The meeting request came after the alleged hate crime last week against a Muslim woman who is an NYPD officer. Trump has yet to respond to the letter.
The Pentagon confirmed today that 3 ISIS leaders were killed last week by a coalition airstrike. 2 of the targets were directly involved in plotting the November 13, 2015 Paris attacks. The third was a suicide attack planner who was involved in a 2015 terror plot in Belgium. The leaders were working to plan and carry out attacks on the West. Coalition airstrikes have successfully targeted 5 top ISIL external plotters within the last month.
In Sweden, tiny magical pop-up shops have appeared that could be fit for the size of mice. In the city of Malmö, guests can notice tiny businesses inside a basement window, which would be the right size for mice. A representative from Anonymous, MXX, an artist group, is quoted in saying, "It's just too darn charming to imagine a world where mice live parallel to ours, but just slightly out of sight." The group cited the works of Disney, Astrid Lindgren, and Don Bluth as huge influences. The group have already made a few miniature shops, but have plans to make more in the coming months. The shops aren't actually open for business, but an artist said that would be the case unless mice possess some type of lock-picking talent.
Kanye West met with President-elect Donald Trump today, only days after the rapper came back into the public eye following his hospitalization. It's not known what the two discussed in the meeting at the Trump Towers in New York City. West ignored questions about whether he plans on performing at Trump's inauguration. Trump spoke to reporters with West by his side, calling the rapper a good man and telling journalists that they have been friends for a long time. Let's head over to Steven Rodriguez with an update on our Rowan sports teams.
Thanks, Summer. 3 members of the Rowan football team have been selected to the Philadelphia Inquirer Academic All-Area Football Team. Linebacker Ryan Brenner and defensive lineman Will Flake and Kevin Stokes were all selected to their first Academic All-Area team. In order to be eligible for Academic All-Area honors, an athlete must be in at least his second year at the institution and hold a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or better. The sports information directors of 30 institutions in the Philadelphia metropolitan area will then vote on the team. Over in softball, Rowan University softball coach Kim Wilson was honored for her 700th career victory at the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association Convention on Thursday. Wilson reached the milestone last spring when Rowan defeated Newman University 9-0 in the first game of a doubleheader. Last season, Wilson led Rowan to her 6th NJAC championship since at the university and a third-place finish at the NCAA Division III championship tournament. In 20 campaigns with the Profs, Wilson has a 664 and 225 record at the university. Overall, Wilson has a 728-282 win-loss record in 26 seasons coaching. In men's swimming, Rowan University's Jesse Novak was selected as the Metro Conference Swimmer of the Week by collegeswimming.com. This is the second time he has received the honor this season. At the WPI Gumpai Invitational, Novak won the 50 and 100-meter freestyles. Novak was also a member of the winning 200, 400, and 800 freestyle relay teams. The 800-meter freestyle time broke the school record of 6 minutes and 46.30 seconds that Novak set last year. And now we go to Eric Conklin to find out about the men's and women's basketball teams.
This basketball season will feature 2 matchups between Montclair State College and Rowan University. The first being here at the Rowan Gymnasium in Glassboro on December 10th, 2016. Both the men's and women's basketball teams from Montclair State University traveled to Glassboro for an NJAC showdown Saturday, December 10th. The women's team entered the game undefeated and managed to keep that status as well, defeating the Lady Profs by a final score of 67-57. Katie Sire of the Red Hawks led her team with 20 points. Her teammate Zoe Curtis also recorded a double-double with 18 points and 12 rebounds. Rowan was led by senior guard Valerie Garofalo, who put up 11 points, along with her teammate Alyssa Sanchez, who put up 10 points. The Lady Profs now moved to 7-2 on the season. On the men's side, Montclair's men's team managed to defeat the Profs as well by a final score of 92-78. The game featured superb play from Montclair's Brandon Channer, who managed to post 23 points against the Profs. For Rowan, Pleasantville's Sean Wilson posted a game high of 25 points. Montclair advanced to 4-4, while the Rowan Profs fell to 6-4. The men's team now looks onward to Swarthmore College in the opening round of the Garnett Holiday Tournament on December 17th. Now, both the men's and women's basketball teams will match up again this coming season on January 28th at Montclair State. As for Rowan, they have upcoming matches against Rutgers Camden, TCNJ, William Patterson, and that ever-famous South Jersey rivalry against Stockton University. Here at the Rowan Gymnasium, I'm Eric Conklin for Channel 5 RTN News.
Well, it might not have been the result they wanted, but you could see the effort was there for both of the basketball teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, tough bump in the road. They're still, above 500. But really, a big shout out to those football players that made the academic team, you know what definitely. I mean? On and off the field, got to keep pushing.
And
you gotta
also
grind.
this softball coach is celebrating her 700th career victory. That's amazing.
700 dubs.
That's
all
lot.
that.
700's a lot.
That's a lot. So good for her.
Yeah.
Great for her.
That's awesome.
Well,
Thanks,
thank
Steve.
you.
No problem.
Now we have Dino Arontoulis with this week's Rowan Opinion.
Thanksgiving is over and the Christmas holiday cheer is rising. In this week's episode of the Rowan Opinion Report, I want to know, what Christmas movie do students love most here at Rowan University?
I would have to say The Grinch, because I think I can relate. Christmas is more than just giving out presents and stuff like that. It's about coming together and feeling the spirit of being generous.
You know what? That's a great question. My favorite movie is Elf. Will Ferrell is just absolutely hilarious. and it's just all around great movie.
I like This Christmas because it's more of a family movie, and I sit down with my whole family and we just watch it, and we really enjoy watching it.
It has to be Home Alone. I just think the way the kid plays and the way the bad guys act, I just think it's very suspenseful and very interesting to watch. And I like the way all the traps the kid sets up. I think it's genius the way he does it.
I love the Home Alone series. You know why? Because it always brings out the mischievous side of me when I was a little kid. I always dreamed of being stuck in a situation like that where I had the whole house to myself, and what I'd do with it never happened.
The Year Without a Santa Claus, because Heat Miser and Snow Miser are awesome. They're really funny. My favorite part of the movie.
After speaking to students here today, most students seem to prefer the movie Home Alone. If I had to choose, my favorite Christmas movie is Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is Dino Allen Tulish reporting from the Chamberlain Student Center for the Rowan Opinion Report for RTN News.
So what's your favorite holiday movie?
It's A Wonderful Life, and that was from ages ago.
I
That
don't
was like
even
back
think
in
I've
the-
ever seen that. But
You haven't seen it? Oh, it's a great movie. You should check it
I have
out.
to watch it.
James
But,
Stewart's really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm gonna have
yeah.
to check it out. And probably The Elf. I know everybody says that, but it's so funny. Like, it's a classic.
Yeah, it's usually the classics are always the great ones. Always.
Exactly. Well, thank you for tuning in to our last episode of RTN News. I'm Summer Shiki. Have a great winter and holiday.
And I'm Hassan Drame. Like always, stay golden. Good luck on finals, and we'll see you next year.